Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on our talk about how to use the theory of change framework to better track the impact of our technology-driven solutions. First, a little bit about ourselves. We work at Exygy, a design and technology company that works with social impact organizations in order to build technology that improves lives. My name is Antonella. I'm the director of product of Bloom Housing.
I'm Izzie. I'm a product manager on the Bloom team.
We design and build a suite of products in order to centralize and improve the affordable housing search and application process. We started this work in 2015 with the city and county of San Francisco, and since then we have created Bloom Housing, an open source tool to actually help housing departments with this problem. And we have been working with cities, counties, and regions across the US. The reason why we focus on this problem is because it's really hard for home seekers and low-income households to find and apply for affordable housing. With our products, we were able to reduce the application process from days to just 4 or 15 minutes on average. And why we decided to start using the theory of change? Before we jump into that, we would like to invite you to actually take a step back and think about how are you measuring the success of your products and what are the main challenges that you are facing. In our case, what we noticed is that the traditional ways of measuring product success was not sufficient for us, was not really informative. On one hand, we felt that the traditional AARRR model was very limiting and actually only focused on benefits for the people that build the products or services, but not really the beneficiaries. We noticed also that analytics and user feedback was helpful, but not enough. We wanted to have a tool that can really allow us to think more broadly about the system that we are trying to affect, which in our case is the affordable housing ecosystem. But what is the theory of change? This framework is a planning tool and an illustration that can help you and your teams to clarify and align on the desired impact that you are trying to achieve and everything that needs to happen, conditions and strategies in order for you to get there. The reason why we love this tool is because it can help you to reduce a lengthy planning process into a few participatory sessions. Other benefits that we would like to highlight is that this tool can really help you to create alignment about critical aspects of your intervention. It's like state your assumptions, challenge anything that might need some shaking in the way you or your team are thinking about your interventions, and most importantly, defining and aligning what is the change that you want to see, what all that needs to happen, how you should be thinking about metrics, whether to take a step back and think about it more broadly, and gaining insights about ways in which you can evolve your product roadmap, in ways in you can rethink your expansion, scaling, and partnership opportunities. Other benefits, apart from like creating that common understanding about your vision, is like tracking progress and the way you are kind of creating impact in a more efficient way, thinking about metrics more broadly, communicating more effectively, both internally as well as externally, and being able to design more outcome-based digital products.
We also really like the theory of change because we can use it at different levels. We can build a theory of change that focuses only on one program, product, or service, how our organization interacts with the system, or the system as a whole, and really draw the connections between all of these different interactive layers. A theory of change generally looks something like this. You can see that it maps the problem all the way to your impact and the relationships between all the steps in the middle. I'll also point out that you'll notice there are some numbers on here that don't appear to be in order. That's because when creating your theory of change, you should always start with what problems you're addressing, but then move to your impact and work backwards from there. And I'll share a little bit more detail about how we do that in a second. In the Bloom space, we've applied this framework to our products to help us identify what we call the impact pathway. So by starting with the problem space and who is affected by it, we can get really clear about what problems we're addressing, and then define the long-term impact and vision and map backwards from there. That way we can identify what the preconditions are in order for the impact to be seen. In that way, we can outline the causal relationship from every service and activity and product that we do, all the way to a long-term vision of systemic change. And in Bloom, that looks a little bit something like this, how we map all the way from the problems of inaccessibility in the affordable housing application to equitable and easy access. We really like using tools like FigJam, which is the screenshot from, because they're designed to be really participatory and easy for us to revisit, giving us a lot of value as we continue to adapt and refine our theory of change. Metrics and indicators are also really important. As a product person, I care a lot about metrics, and I'm sure that you do too. So we found that product success metrics that are fairly typical for a product like ours really were only showing us maybe the short or the long-term results, and we're falling short of capturing our full impact. So when we think about things like site traffic or time to task, that's really showing a short-term result. A true impact would be looking at something like the true level of access in the affordable housing ecosystem to easily put in an application. So if we haven't convinced you already, here are some tips and tricks for setting up your own theory of change. Participatory is really something that's valuable to us. We want to make sure that you're taking space to define your theory of change, maybe in a retreat, and involving key stakeholders so that you can get cross-disciplinary perspectives. Also, don't be afraid of choosing impact metrics that aren't easy for you to measure. That can be an opportunity for you to find new partnerships or better inform your product roadmap. You also may discover that there are things you don't know and you need to do more research and gather more evidence on, but that's all right because your TOC is something that you'll come back to, and we strongly recommend that you revisit it regularly and integrate it into your regular product evaluation. And finally, your theory of change will evolve and be refined as you test it and continue to gather evidence. So always be making sure that it's not going to look the same this year and then next year. So don't be afraid to let it live and grow and change. So thank you so much for listening to our lightning talk. If you want to keep talking about theories of change, we'd love to keep in touch with you. So our emails are right here, and you can learn more about our work on Bloom Housing at these links.
Thank you.
Thank you.